The worst thing you can do right now is just to go on a mining profitability calculator website, fill in your power price and what gear you have, and then just give up because the calculator says mining is unprofitable. Instead, I'm going to give you 5 tips to help you survive now during what is probably going to be the roughest few months in mining during this bear market. These tips are going to range from helping you better understand some of the core concepts in mining to some actionable tips to help increase your profitability, plus a bonus tip at the end of the video. So don't click off early or you'll miss that one. Alright, so let's get right into all of that after a quick word from our sponsor. Unminable is a service that lets you mine like normal on your GPU or ASIC rigs, but be paid out in over 70 different cryptos, most of which are, well, unminable. This is a great service for those of you who might want to build a diverse crypto portfolio without having to go through the hassle of giving away your personal information, paying exchange fees, and triggering taxable events when buying coins. Thanks to Unminable, you also don't have to make the choice between mining the most profitable coin and mining the coin that you actually want to hold long term. For example, my Jasminer is the only rig in my farm that's been consistently profitable since the ETH merge. However, it mines Ethereum Classic, which isn't really a coin that I'm too keen on holding personally. But with Unminable, I can keep that same level of mining profitability, but be paid in different coins I actually do want to hold, like maybe Dogecoin or Flux or Bitcoin. Also, make sure you add hashtag Seb to the end of your worker name to get a 25% discount on their fee. You do this in your miner batch file on Windows or in setup miner config in your HiveOS flight sheet. So, check out Unminable through the link in the video description and get started today. So tip 1 is to make sure you actually understand the concept of mining profitability properly, because I think we could all use a reality check and a reminder of what it actually means. Now, I have talked about this before, but I keep getting comments about this, so I feel I should probably go over it again, but you can just skip to the next chapter in the video if you're aware of this stuff already. So, in mining, we have a cost, which is the amount of money we pay for the power to run the mining rigs, and then we have a reward, which is the crypto we receive for the actual mining. And traditionally, what we refer to as being profitable is when the amount of crypto we mined on any given day is worth more than what we paid for the power to run the mining rigs. And on the flip side of that, being unprofitable means that you spend more on power than what the coins you mined are actually worth on that day. Meaning that if you would have just taken the money you spent on power and bought the coin instead, you would have ended up with more crypto compared to mining. The problem is that this concept has 2 big flaws when actually putting it into practice. The first problem is that it uses the current coin price to define what the coins you're mining are actually worth. But the thing is, by the time you've actually mined the coins and want to sell them, they could be worth a lot more. Let me explain what I mean. So, let's say you paid $5 in power and mined some Casbah that would have been worth only $3 that day, which would be a $2 loss, right? But then Casbah price doubles in the next day, just as you're getting the payout from the mining pool. Now all of a sudden you were actually mining $6 yesterday, which means instead of losing $2 and being unprofitable, you were actually profitable. You made a $1 profit. Let's then say you keep that Casbah for another year, and by then the Casbah price has gone up by 10 times and the coins you mined on that day are now worth $60. Does that now mean that you made a $55 profit that day? What if the price then goes back down to $3 again? The point I'm trying to make here is that profitability isn't decided on the day you mine the coins, it is decided on the day you actually sell the coins. Until then, you've neither lost nor made any money. And I actually have a video about this that shows a practical example of how even if you were unprofitable mining every single day for a 90-day period, you actually ended up being profitable anyway. I'll link that video in the description so that you can check it out after this video. And now you might say that that's not the point. The point is that you would have had more coins by buying instead of mining. But here is where that second big problem with how we normally think about profitability comes in. And the short of it is that you won't be able to buy the coin for the price that's in the profitability calculation. Not only because of bank transfer fees, exchange fees, and transaction fees, but also because by the time you actually get the funds on, off of your bank onto the exchange, coin prices will have changed by then anyway. Now, I'm not saying to just go out and be reckless and disregard profitability altogether, but I want you to actually understand what profitability is and then make informed decisions based on that. Also, if you want to learn more about how mining profitability actually works and how you can use that knowledge to your advantage, I have a full video about that as well, so I'll link that one down in the description too. Alright, tip number 2 is to not just blindly follow profitability calculators online, not only because of all the stuff we just talked about, but also because of the simple fact that they are often wrong for a number of reasons. Now, to start, their predefined hash rate and wattage numbers are often a lot worse compared to what you can actually get in real life. They probably didn't properly overclock their GPUs when they did their testing. There's probably been a minor update that's increased hash rate since then, and they probably even under-specified some numbers to make sure that people wouldn't get disappointed if they couldn't get that same performance on their GPUs. And also, add to this that the calculators kind of just generally seem to not be correct. I've done several tests on my channel and it always seems like the calculators are way off compared to the actual profitability. For example, you can check out this video where I mined with 5 miners to 5 different pools for 30 days straight and then compared the profitability with what What2Mine specified the profitability would have been. So what actually is the tip here? Well, instead of just using the specified numbers of mining calculators, you can get your own numbers. Overclock your GPUs to see what the best hash rate and wattage you can get out of them is. By the way, I have plenty of videos on how to overclock on my channel here that you can check out. And then also run your own tests. Maybe mine to a pool for a few days and see how much you're actually making and see if that coincides with how much What2Mine said you'd make or if it might be significantly more. The main point is optimize your farm, do your own testing and make decisions based on those results, not on random numbers you found on a website. Those numbers are only good to maybe get a rough idea, but not much more than that in my opinion. Tip number 3 is don't just give up on mining because your power price is through the roof. Instead, be proactive, because there are so many things you can do to combat your high power price. You know, good things come to those who work for it, so let's be solution oriented. The easiest thing would be to sell your currently unprofitable hardware and buy more power efficient hardware that is profitable for you. For example, I just looked into the new Jasminer X16Q here on the channel, and that thing is still profitable all the way up to power costs of 39 cents per kilowatt hour. So if your farm has been turned off and just gathering dust for the past 9 months, isn't it better to sell that gear and buy something that at least makes a little bit of profit every day instead of nothing? But also, disregarding the actual gear for a bit, a good first step is to make sure you properly understand your power bill, because they sure make it difficult to wrap your head around how much you're actually paying and to who and why. In many cases, there's more than one company involved. So for example, even if maybe your delivery price is fixed, you might still be able to shop around on the price of your usage cost. But okay, let's also say that negotiating the price or swapping providers for some reason is out of the question for you. Then why don't you look into solar panels? Can't do that either for some reason? Well, then why don't look around to see if there might be any commercial or farming properties around that might have some spare space where you could set up? That out of the question too, huh? Well, then what about some friends or relatives in a different state or country where power might be cheap? No? Not that either? Then what about looking into hosting? If you truly are dedicated to mining, I don't see why you wouldn't be able to at the very least sell the hardware you have at home and then buy new hardware from a provider that also offers hosting at a cheap power cost. I do have a video that goes more into detail about all of this that we've just talked about. I'll leave a link to that one down in the video description as well. And the point is, don't let your high power price defeat you. Instead, defeat your high power price. Tip number 4, the mining hardware itself can be an investment too. Trust me, nobody is more aware of the current low mining profitability than the companies selling the mining equipment, and it's showing in their pricing. In general, mining hardware is definitely a lot cheaper now than it was 2 years ago during the bull market, and you might be able to use this to your advantage. The obvious way of doing that is, if history repeats itself and we see another crypto bull market in the next year or two, then as coin prices go up, so will the prices of the mining equipment. We saw that happen a lot during the last crypto price cycle, where some unprofitable miners that sold for as little as $50 in 2019, 2 years later were selling for over $1,000 on eBay. And that's obviously because as crypto prices went up, those miners went from unprofitable to profitable, and as that happened, all of a sudden there was a demand for those miners, and then the price of the miners exploded. So one option is to just straight up look for deals on hardware with the sole intent of selling them later. Or another approach I've seen is people buying unprofitable hardware now, taking advantage of the cheap prices with the intention of mining on it later after the coin prices recover and the miners become profitable again. Of course, there is risk involved in this. But then again, everything in crypto is a risk and nothing in the space is ever guaranteed or for certain. And in the same vein of shopping around for cheap hardware, the fifth tip today is that right now might be a great time to diversify your mining farm. If you, like me, went all in on GPU mining, then maybe right now is the time to get some CPU rigs, some ASICs, some node setups, and even some of those evergreen Chia farming things. The reason for this is that we currently don't know what the future holds, and we don't know what's going to be the big moneymaker in the future. But whatever it is, we can be sure that once it pops off, the price of that equipment is going to go through the roof. Last bull run in 2021, it was definitely GPU and ASIC mining that were the biggest moneymakers, and we absolutely saw that reflected in the price of that hardware. So what I'm doing personally is I'm selling a lot of my GPUs to buy other hardware. And while it does hurt to sell them for a lot less than what I paid for them, I have to keep in mind that the other hardware I'm buying is also a lot cheaper than it would have been in 2021. So as long as I'm not selling my gear to cash out and call it quits, but rather reinvesting in new hardware, I'm okay with it. I have a video about what I'm currently buying, by the way. You can check that out in the video description as well. Alright, so we've talked about how to better understand mining profitability so you can use that to your advantage. We've talked about the many different approaches you can take to increase your profitability, and we've talked about what you can do hardware-wise to make the most of this current spot we're in. So I think it's time we take all of that and put it together in the last bonus tip of this video, after a quick word from our sponsor.
Introducing the Octominer Octotank 12 Home Immersion Cooling System, the future of cryptocurrency mining and home heating. Quiet, cool, and efficient. The Octotank 12 allows you to overclock your ASIC miners up to 70% to get more performance for your money. Compatible with up to 2 ASICs. Fully plug-and-play system. The immersion system ensures that your miners stay cool. Perfect for garage or basement heating. Up to 150 square meters of heating capacity. Clean and minimalist design. Fully weatherproof. Designed to last for years. Save money while keeping your home warm and cozy this winter. Order yours now.
Alright, it's bonus tip time, and this is something I guarantee you've heard before, but that many of you still aren't doing. Make a plan and a strategy for your crypto mining. Start with what is it you actually want to get out of your crypto mining, and as I see it, there's usually two different answers there. You can either view it as a way to achieve a bit of passive everyday income on the side, or you want to use it as a way to build up a big bag of crypto for long-term investment with the intention of making a lot of money after a big price increase. So if your route is the passive income one, then you're going to have to chase profitability every day, and your strategy should be to constantly research profits like we spoke about earlier, continuously reinvesting in the most profitable hardware, and do everything you can to lower your power cost. But if you're more in the second camp, where you want to use mining as a way to invest into crypto long term, then step one should be to really make sure you know what your goal is, and then do the research on the best way to reach that goal. For me, the goal I've set for myself is I have a list of all the coins I want to hold and how much I want of each of them by the time the next potential crypto bull market comes around. What I then did was I looked into what the best approach for me to reach that goal was, and for me that was selling off a load of the unprofitable GPUs that I have and reinvest that money into some profitable ASICs and CPU mining rigs. That way I'm not only more likely to at least always have something in my farm that will be profitable, but I also made sure to go for hardware that I can use with unminable, so that I don't have to choose between mining the coin that is the most profitable and the coin that I actually want to hold long term. Hey, you might have heard me say that before.